Welcome to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. I'm your host, Jill Jardine, Master's in Counseling Psychology, professional astrologer, psychic, healer, and yogi. In this episode, my guest is SL369, cryptocurrency clairvoyant and influencer. We're glad to have SL back on Cosmic Scene, and she has a lot to share with our listeners about the crypto trajectory in the upcoming months. So stay tuned. Hey listeners, I want to remind you to support Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine podcast. You can do that by going on to www.buzzsprout.com/958-528/support. This will be in the show notes. We're excited to welcome back SL369 to Cosmic Scene. In this episode, we will discuss the upcoming trajectory of cryptocurrency in the upcoming months of November 2024 throughout February 2025. I'll pipe in with the astrological energies that will be affecting cryptocurrency in the next few months. Stay tuned until the end of the episode when SL369 shares the crypto coins that are good bets. We both predict the crypto markets are going to rally. And if you missed my previous episodes with SL369, let me reintroduce my guest. SL369 is a cryptocurrency clairvoyant who has been channeling visions about cryptocurrency coins since 2018. SL369 has an 80 to 85% accuracy with her crypto visions. SL stands for Starseed and Lightworker. The number 369 was inspired by Nikola Tesla's theory that these numbers are the keys to the universe. Check out SL369 on her website, www.sl369crypto.com, and watch some of her YouTube videos. We are excited to have SL369 back on Cosmic Scene. Welcome, SL.
Hi there, Jill. How are you?
Good. We have a lot to cover today. We're going to talk about the months of November, December, January, and February with the crypto market. I know you have questions for me, and you wanted me to consult some of the charts. So hit it. What do you and your followers want to know about? And you can give us those tips at the end of the episode that everybody can look at the coins that might be good for the next few months, as we always do here on Cosmic Scene. But as we go into this episode, what are your key points you want to look at?
Yeah, so Bitcoin in the market has been going up a little bit, preparing for the elections, and a lot of people are excited about who will be the winners. So therefore, the markets, I think there's a lot of people put money into Bitcoin market. So therefore,
Right.
it went up. It went up to all the way to 69,000-ish a few days ago. So today's is roughly at $67,800. So from now, today is October 27th. I want to know, is there any more surprises from now until the end of the month that we need to be concerned about?
Well, we're going to have the Scorpio new moon on November 1st, which can always throw a little bit of a interesting hit, but I think it's going to be beneficial for Bitcoin, this new moon on November 1st. The time we have to watch where things could be a little bit up and down, and start getting a little bit volatile is mid-month, because we have that full moon with the moon in Taurus and the sun in Scorpio, which is actually the financial axis in astrology. So that could be a weird day, the 15th. And I don't even know if the election the results will be validated until maybe even around that time, that full moon on the 15th, or a few days before. Also on that day, Saturn goes direct. So that could be a little bit of a roller coaster mid-month, but it looks really, really good for things to settle out by the end of the month when we have the sun going into Sagittarius after the 21st. The Bitcoin chart has a very big keynote happening. The North Node in Aries is going over Bitcoin's moon. That's actually a really good indicator for the future. That's at the end of November into early December. So I think we're going to get a clearer picture. It's almost like whatever has been occluded because of some of the things going on in the collective with election and other things going on globally, I do think that has added another element into the way the Bitcoin is going up. And then we'll get a clearer picture, I think, after we come into late November. There is a little weird caveat, though, in early December with Mercury going retrograde in Sagittarius. And Mercury retrogrades, I think, traditionally have kind of, again, given a almost like a false picture of what's coming after. And so with Mercury then going direct in mid-December, then I think we're going to start seeing things really, really rally. And as I had said to you off mic, I think the best month of the 4 months we're looking at, November, December, January, February, is February. There are a lot of dynamic energies that are going to benefit crypto in the month of February. And I think that's going to be sort of a very interesting time and almost like a new beginning.
I agree with you. Early 2025 February is really good because some other astrologers and some other spiritual leader using different technique that they also predict February is really good. Can we backtrack a little bit for November?
Yeah, well, let me just preface that with saying I'm getting this from my own astrological content. I don't usually go and listen to others, so it's kind of cool to hear that. Again, I've been doing astrology professionally for over 30 years, so it's nice when we see validation with other people who are doing the work and we're all coming to a similar conclusion. So let's go back to November. What would you like to know about November?
So, right after November elections, which is November 5th, from November 12 all the way to like 18, how do you see Bitcoin in the market?
So from like the 5th in November till...
No. Like roughly the 12 to the 18.
Oh, yeah. So that's going to be a little bit of a weird cycle. And I'll tell you why. Venus, the planet that, rules wealth and riches, is in Capricorn, which is Saturn's sign. So that's a little restrictive with Venus. But the Bitcoin chart, it probably will help it, although it's not going to really let loose. I think it will be controlling. There'll be some controlled movement due to the nature of circumstances happening in the collective. And I think when Venus goes into Aquarius in early December, then we're going to see more of a here we go. So that could be a dicey week, to be quite honest. And again, we also have the full moon, which I already mentioned could be a little bit of an up and down cycle and a little bit of a restrictor because it is the financial full moon that sometimes, classically we've had in all markets some ups and downs around that time. So if somebody's party doesn't win or their candidate doesn't win, that obviously is going to affect the market. Somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose. So you're going to have disappointment on one side, and that side of disappointment could then take out their confidence from the market, which, generally happens and has. And that's why, elections in November, and then we have always in November, rarely it's in early October, we have that full moon in Taurus with the sun in Scorpio. Black Friday happened at one of those cycles. So it could be a little bit more of an upset. But I do see rallying by the end of the month.
Yeah, that I agree. The middle of the month, right after November, a few days after elections, I'm just curious to see what you see in the chart.
Well, okay, so if we can get beyond the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, then we come into the 19th of November, 19th, 20th. Pluto goes into Aquarius. Depending on where you live, on the East Coast here, it's going to transit into Aquarius on the 19th of November, and then it stayed there for 20 years. And we've always talked about how crypto is an Aquarian manifestation. So, and that's going to be really fun because we're going to have Pluto going into early degree Aquarius, 0 Aquarius, and at the same time on the 21st, a couple days, we're going to have the sun in early Sag. And when Sagittarius, sun in Sag, and Pluto and Aquarius to get together, it's a party. it's a crypto party. No, the optimism and the positivity will be catching. And so that's why the end of November looks very different from the beginning and the middle of November.
So positive,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So December, can you talk about the first half of December?
Yeah, so interesting. I love how you're breaking it into the half months because that's really how it's going to go down. Because weirdly enough, 1st of November and 1st of December, we have the Scorpio new moon in the beginning of November on the 1st, and we have the Sag new moon on the beginning of December. So we're going to have these like new moons that are like new beginnings. And then the full moons are coming mid-month. So we're having, as I said, the Taurus Scorpio axis, Taurus full moon on the 15th of November. On the 15th of December, we're going to have a Gemini full moon. Now, the weird thing, though, about early December is that we do have Mercury retrograde until the 15th. So it's almost like I think these months, November and December, are going to feel like 2 months in one. So we have the early part of December, and then we're going to have the second half, and it's cut right down the middle. There is some interesting stuff at the end of December with a new moon on the 30th. So we're actually having 2 new moons in December 2024 on the 1st, Sagittarius, and then the Capricorn new moon on the 30th. That's why I think December could be interesting. There's all this energy coming into the mix. We also have that Venus in Aquarius, which I think is a positive. We're going to have Venus and Pluto holding hands through December in Aquarius, early December. That should be a positive keynote. I don't know what the Mercury retrograde, it is in Sagittarius. So, but we haven't had really good Decembers in the past couple years with the crypto, and this year it's going to be pretty good.
Yes, pretty good. The first half?
I mean, there's some things that show the first half being good with the Sag new moon. It depends how much the Mercury retrograde is going to mess with the trajectory, because that could be a little bit deceptive with Mercury retrograde. We're not going to see the full benefits. We never really see it when we have, because we also have Mars retrograde too, starts going retrograde around the 6th of December. So we have some retrograde activity in early December that could give us some mixed messaging.
Then at the end of December, do you see any sales off? People sell crypto for tax purposes?
Yeah, especially with the Capricornian influx there after the 21st and the Capricorn new moon, people tend to rein in their belts with a preponderance of Capricorn energy. So at the end of December, we'll see that happening. Like you said, for tax purposes, people tightening the belt a little bit as they go into the new year. But and January will be January will be kind of like a transitional time. But by the end of January, we're going to be coming into this boom cycle that will continue into February.
So is the whole month of February great, or only partial of it?
I mean, so far it looks really. I mean, I project forward. It tends to have that thing where it's the month before an eclipse, so it can be very good, and it does look good with Venus going through the sign Aries, new beginnings. We're gonna have that full moon in Leo on the 12th of February, Sun in Aquarius. Mercury's gonna go, be traveling forward. In Pisces, Mars finally goes direct after being retrograde for a while, and then we have the new moon at the end. So yeah, I would say that February, there's not really a lot of negative astrological indicators. It's more like, okay, here we are, we're now in a new year. And sometimes that does happen. January is like a false start astrologically and energetically, because people are trying to suss out what's coming. And there will be an inauguration in January. And so sometimes until that actually happens, when we're in an election cycle, people aren't quite settled.
Okay, I agree. Then, yeah, I forgot March is eclipse month. So are you saying that March people should be wary, cautious?
Yeah, March is going to be a weird eclipse month too. And again, guess what? Mid-month, again, we're having this like shifting that happens November, December, January, and February, and even into March of 2025, a mid-month shift. But March, I think there's going to be some things going on globally that could interfere with the confidence. The lunar eclipse, we're not going to really cover March. We'll do that in the next one, but just people need to be aware on the 14th of March, there's a lunar eclipse with the sun in Pisces, and the full moon lunar eclipse is going to be, the moon is going to be in Virgo. And remember, this is the new cycle of Virgo Pisces. We did have that one in September on the 17th. So now we're going to be seeing Pisces. So Pisces is more like flow and grow, and then Virgo is restricted. So there could be some kind of restriction in mid-March because of that eclipse. And then there's a solar eclipse on the 29th of March, and that is in Aries. So that month is going to be a little bit dicey, I think, for the crypto markets.
So dicey is another meaning for market could potentially drop.
Yeah, and I also feel there's some global stuff going on that is scaring people. I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer, but I just feel like there's some wave of unsettling energy that will, disturb the markets.
Okay, good to know. So I'm reading one of my members' question here. They want to know, let's see, mid-November, is there a drop that they should be concerned about, or should they leave money on the side and buy some crypto during, I think, November 12 to 19? Is that a good period to buy crypto, or what do you think, based on the natal chart?
Well, I mean, based on Bitcoin?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're still going to have the sun in Scorpio, which, Scorpio with Bitcoin, that's influencing its house of depth, and it's positively influencing the Capricorn energy, the Saturn of Bitcoin in Virgo. Yeah, I mean, I think it might be, again, it's like an individual choice, but I think that there may be a time when it does drop, so it can be a little bit cheaper to buy as it goes down, because I think that if it goes down or it's volatile, I see it more as going up, down, up, down, up, down. But if they can catch that week and get it, then I do see it going up after that. Like if you get something in mid-November, you're going to be glad by the end of November.
I agree with that, because I keep getting warnings from my spirit guide that a drop is coming, but they didn't tell me Pacific day.
Yeah, I would concur that it will be in the second week of November, all the way till about the 19th. And then again, the 19th, 20th, 21st, there's a lot of rally going on. It's the beginning of rally because there's some optimistic connections astrologically.
So then the December rally is like partial month only, because the first half is good, and then the second half.
I wouldn't even say it's, it could, there is a Gemini full moon, and Gemini can be a little bit, talk about up and down. Gemini can be all over the place. So that Gemini full moon could just start disturbing it on the 15th. And I think as we go into the Capricornian season, again, it's the tightening the belt, and people are looking at like, oh, that didn't happen. And there can be more, what's the word? Prudency, people being more prudent with their finances. It's holiday season, but then you look at, in January, you got to pay those bills.
I agree with that.
You know what else is going on with Bitcoin that's really important for everybody to know?
Yes.
This is pretty interesting because it goes right along with the trajectory we're looking at. So currently, November, Pluto is sitting on the Jupiter in Bitcoin's chart. What does that mean? That means that it's trying to transform the wealth of Bitcoin. But because it's a death rebirth transit, that we can see the rebirth is about to come. And I think that rebirth will come in February, when Pluto is conjuncting Mercury and Aquarius in the Bitcoin chart. So we're seeing some really interesting astrological dynamic with the Pluto back and forth over the last year in 18 months. Pluto on Jupiter, a Bitcoin, then it moves forward and gets toward the Mercury, then it moves back. And since September 2nd, 2024, Pluto has been sitting on the Jupiter in Bitcoin's chart. And that's a breakdown before a breakthrough. But we're seeing the breakthrough. This is the last time that Pluto, as we have told everybody, is going to be in Capricorn. So it's continuing to dismantle whatever the blocks have been, that whether it was manipulation of the crypto market or non-confidence for some reason, or any external or internal mechanism that has prevented Bitcoin from going to the next level, that is occurring now with the last hit of Pluto on the natal Jupiter. Now, Jupiter, the archetype is wealth, it's abundance. Pluto is transformation. So we're seeing a transformation of Bitcoin's abundance. And guess what? That is finally into the new cycle after the 20th of November. And as we get to the end of January, mostly February, we're going to have Pluto on the Mercury. So there's going to be some very interesting scoop coming up. I also think you had said something earlier, and I got the psychic hit. There's some new things being introduced, I believe, into crypto. You might speak to that more, SL, and I think that is coming in February. What is it that you know?
So Bitcoin seasons has been sort of in the bull season since some people think it's November 2022. Some people think it's like the beginning, at the end of 2023 and Q4 2023. So we have been in bull cycle from then on until now. And then up until 2025, we don't know exactly what month this whole cycle will end, and then we go into bear market. But so this season, each narrative it runs. So for example, layer one it runs. Layer one is Solana, Ethereum, dots, polka dots. So Solana was the first runner, and so on. So some other narrative haven't pumped yet. So I think the DeFi, the gaming, and decentralized coins, such as decentralized exchange.
Yes.
So those coins will pump, I think, in February.
Yes.
Or people should buy it when it drops this year.
Yeah.
And then when it pump in February, they can benefit from it.
Exactly.
Because I have been monitoring a few coins, in particular Radium, which is Radium is built on Solana network. So Solana price go up. So these projects have been going up a lot as well. So decentralized projects and DeFi gaming, I think AI still do well, but some other coin hasn't popped yet.
Right.
I think
so the second layer, then the second levels are going.
Some other narrative, they call narrative.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can see that. I agree with you with that. But like the Bitcoin and Solana and the first wave, I'm pretty sure that they're going to keep pumping, as you said. There's going to be, but again, there's this distraction that comes in the middle of November that, but it's just temporary, right? And then we're going to get kind of like another almost like deceptive or distractive time at the end of December. And then we're going to start seeing things really start playing out. But again, then in January, after this, like I said, while we're still in Capricorn, which is up until about the 19th this year of January, it's still going to be like, what's going on? And then we're moving into this new level.
So earlier you used the two keywords. You said distractions and deceptions. That is another way of you saying that the market basically dropped temporary, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we come back, we'll talk more with SL369 of the trajectory of the crypto market and maybe even suss out certain coins. Stay tuned. Are you interested in natural health and regenerative healing? Do you want to work with vibration to heal your body? Check out this patented wearable light technology at www.lifewave.com/JillJar. LifeWave is a company that has patches that you wear. So it's not transdermal, you're not taking anything in. And what these patches do, they activate your body's light. It's called biomodulation. And that light is activated, your body starts producing GHK, copper peptides, which in turn activates stem cell production. That's right. So wearing these patches will regenerate your body, reflects your body's light back into your tissues, and you become more vital, energized, reduce pain, inflammation, improvement of sleep, increase strength are all possibilities. Other benefits could be hair quality, rapid wound healing, mental clarity, increased joy and stamina, your skin appearance and wrinkles could go away. Again, all probable and possible depending on your chemistry. Others have enjoyed increased sports performance and recovery and restored muscle or skeletal conditions. Check it out at lifewave.com/JillJar and order yours today.
So there's one coin that we would like to know what's going on with Ethereum.
Yeah, so Ethereum has been getting nailed by Saturn going through Pisces in its fourth house. It's been interfering, but the big news with Ethereum is that the cycle of Mars retrograde and the Mars return is kind of like going to give it a boost. I can see it's not getting a lot of traction for several reasons, but the thing going into 2025 that we want to actually track is Ethereum's Mars return in its 8th house of money. So this Mars return, it's going to go retrograde. Mars will go retrograde into Cancer on January 6th, and it will stay retrograde in Cancer through February 23rd. But there's a time period when we're going to have a little jump start for Ethereum when Mars comes over the natal Mars. And that would be like right when the sun goes into Aquarius around the 21st, 22nd, 23rd of January. But we're not going to really see, that's going to bring something to light about Ethereum, but it's really going to take till it's going forward and the Mars return at the end of March. We could see Ethereum starting to come back. Mars is vitality. And the fact that Mars is in that 8th house, it's like its vitality, if we want to use that metaphor, has been compromised. And it won't get its full juju back until about the beginning of April, but there could be some little interesting precursor coming in January for Ethereum.
So when Ethereum will pump like Bitcoin?
I would say not until really April, according to this Mars return cycle.
What part of April?
Early.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, there's been some disturbance in the force there for Ethereum. So that's it's got Jupiter retrograde too in its 7th house of, other. So it has to do some kind of recalibration or something. There's something that it's like it's got to sort itself out.
Okay. That's okay. Ethereum is an OG coin, good technology. I believe in time that will bounce back. So their competitor Solana has been doing really well, surprisingly, even though the network, I think, sort of like failed. So can you tell us what's going on with Solana? Why they're doing a lot better than Ethereum?
Okay, so Solana should be rallying. So Solana, interestingly enough, Pluto went back and forth over its Saturn during 2024 from about February to July. So it was basically removing some kind of obstacle. And now that it's going to come back over it in February. So I feel like Solana is going to really take off after that final Pluto over the karmic lord of Saturn in their third house. So there's something is going to lift. But I can see it was getting some traction earlier. And then we're going to have in like March, April, May, June, Pluto almost like trining, almost, within a few degrees of the Venus in Solana. So that should really help it quite a bit.
So
Spring 2025.
March, April, May,
May,
June.
June. Yeah.
So about 4 months.
Yeah. That's going to be, and then it comes back and does that in 2026. So there's going to be a little precursor to what is to come with Solana. But I can see that obstacles getting cleared in 2024 when Pluto went over at Saturn. So we're going to see more of that into 2025.
So in another word, are you saying that Solana natal chart is better than Ethereum for the next few months?
For sure.
Okay. So
yes, it is.
Oh, can you tell a little bit about Doge? Has been doing okay for the past few days, but I want to know for the next few months how will perform.
Well, interesting when we've got Mercury going into Sagittarius, which is coming up here on the 2nd of November. That's probably going to help it for briefly from November 2nd till about the 25th. There might be a little bump up, but then from the 25th of November through mid-December, we're going to have Mercury retrograde. So that's not going to help it at all. What's going to happen in 2025 as we get into the spring, April, May, we're going to have Pluto very close to its moon, and that's going to help it quite a bit. There's going to be some kind of transformation for Dogecoin. So it's interesting because it's almost like sort of just waiting, in the wings to pop. Probably not until the spring, but there could be some interesting activity as it has its Mercury return in November.
So do you see that it will perform the first 3 months of 2025 will perform as well, like decent or well?
It'll be okay by February. I don't know in January, though. It looks like it's just still not getting enough boost. It will get a boost from some Aquarian planets in its second house starting in late January and most of February. And those Aquarian planets in its second house are also going to send some nice energy to the sun of Dogecoin. So, Dogecoin. So, SL, we're at the point in the episode that people have been waiting to hear your predictions for good bets on crypto coins.
Yes. So some of the coin that I recommend in this past summer, Sui.
Yes.
Sui is one of them. I think it did pretty well. It went from 78 cents or 87 cents to $2 a few days ago. So Sui is a layer 1 new technology, new company created by former Facebook team. So I think Sui will do okay. SUI layer 1.
Nice.
And
Sweet.
then Radium, RAYDIUM. So earlier, I think I spoke about that as a decentralized exchange on Solana. Solana do well, Radium will do well because people buy meme coin and they do DeFi on Radiums and exchange. They can exchange coin and things like that on Radiums. Another one is Aptos, APTOS. Another layer 1 projects as well, new projects. My spirit guide told me to get it last May. They told me to get it again a few weeks ago.
I think you shared that in the last podcast we did in August, so that's good. Sui and Aptos, hearing them again, that's great. What else?
Link, LINK, Chainlink. Chainlink has more partnership. They're still working on the projects. It does surprisingly a lot better than Polkadot. Polkadot this season has been
Not doing so well.
They've been just trying to float, not doing much. So another one is a gaming coin called Super. I think that coin will, when the gaming narrative actually pick up in 2025, hopefully by February or earlier, Superverse will do well. Solana. So as long as meme coin industry doing well, Solana will do well because people buy meme coin on Solana network. So that's like the 6th coin that I'm talking about. Also, like decentralized and DeFi coin and gaming coin, the good ones, the one that has a lot of people promoting it, a lot of volumes. Also, good like projects, good fundamental, not scam coin or shit coin. Those coin, when it drops in November, people should try to pick it up. I think similar to Sui, last time I said when it drops, buy some because it will do well. So that's my pick for the next few months.
All right. Well, thank you, SL, for those hot tips in crypto coin. It's a great time to book a reading. So check out my website, JillJardineAstrology.com/shop, and pick the kind of reading or service you would like. I hope you enjoyed this episode featuring my guest, SL369. Remember to subscribe, download, share, and give us a 5-star review. This is Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, signing out, sending healing cryptocurrents through the quantum field.